Technology that is built for your every sense. Acer Pure from Acer.
Viewers, Nepal witnessed a fresh wave of youth-led protests today as demonstrators took to the streets for a second consecutive day, demanding accountability, anti-corruption measures. The unrest, which erupted after a controversial government decision and a social media blackout, turned violent, with protesters storming homes of political leaders. The President's office has issued a statement that it has approved the resignation of the Prime Minister of Nepal, KP Sharma Oli. Nepal's President Ramchandra Paudel has accepted KP Sharma Oli's resignation as the Prime Minister, and visuals showed Oli leaving Kathmandu in a military helicopter earlier. We have my colleagues tracking the story very, very closely. Rishabh as well as Priyank live with us right now. Rishabh, to you first. So the resignation has been accepted. This is what protesters want. Protesters who have gone on a rampage on the streets of Kathmandu. The question is, what happens next? With KP Oli going away, I'm sure there's not going to be any all-party meeting at 6 o'clock as it was supposed to happen earlier. Are we likely to see army's rule? What's happening?
Well, as per the Constitution of Nepal, there are three things that happens from here. Once the Prime Minister resigns, the group of ministers come together and take the decisions till the next election or next government is formed. In this case, given that you still have time for the elections, the scheduled elections to take place, so it could be that the group of ministers will come together and continue governing the country till there is an arrangement or a party that can stake claim on election on the prime ministership can come forward. If that doesn't happen, then there will be a snap poll, is what we are given to understand. Army is in no mood to rule right now, and we have spoken to senior army officials as well, and they say that our job is not to rule the country, our job is not to govern the country, ours is to ensure that the country is safe, and we'll continue doing that. If army doesn't take over, then it will be president who will be taking over the governance till there is the next election or next form of government comes into power. So listen, the way Nepal political system has functioned till now, that one prime minister leaves and then there is a new coalition that is formed within 10 days, 12 days, and another person comes to power. The same Nepali Congress has supported Prachand, the same Nepali Congress has supported Oli, Oli has supported Prachand, Oli has supported Nepali Congress also. So the way permutations and combinations have led to the prime ministership in Nepal, that is one of the major reasons that the youth is frustrated right now, that among the three they have shared power doing nothing for the people of Nepal. So now the major question is, will the protesters agree to have a similar government back in power, or they'll push for a snap election and have their candidates run for the elections to govern the country?
Of an army rule clearly in Nepal. We could see perhaps another prime minister, another government, but we'll have to wait and see what really happens over the next few hours for that. Rishabh, stay on with us. Let me go across to Priyank Tripathi as well. Priyank, bring us up to speed with what you're hearing from the situation as far as the situation on the ground is concerned. 6 o'clock was the time when an all-party meeting was supposed to happen. Is it happening, yes or no? Second, can you tell us a little bit about how the situation right now is on the ground? Are we seeing any kind of talks taking place between people who are on the streets and the president maybe, or some political parties there to diffuse the situation?
Looking at the kind of attack which is happening at members of all the parties, like Congress leaders have been attacked. His wife is the finance minister was the finance minister of Nepal, who has also put forward her resignation. The prime minister leaving visuals in the army chopper. It is quite clear that the 6 o'clock meeting is not quite possible because of the volatile situation on the ground. All these MPs will attempt to be there at a safer location. That's why early in the day we saw that 21 of the MPs had put forward their resignation. Now coming to the point two, that what is going to happen then? There was a very big worry that who could be the next leader who can control the situation, who can control these agencies. There comes the name of Balen Shah, one of the mayor, who's a YouTuber, and he's also a rapper whose raps have been pretty famous, and he was in the forefront of the Gen Z protest when the social media hashtag was floated on all these platforms. Later to that, what we saw that all these 26 platforms were banned by the government, which was uplifted yesterday. So the Balen Shah, the mayor of one of the region, has come up and he has stated that the martyrdom of all these protesters who had died in the yesterday's protest has been achieved because of the resignation which has come up from the government side, from the Prime Minister's side, and he has also urged these protesters to remain calm and maintain peace. Adding to that is Hami Nepal, one of the NGO which has also come up in request to these protesters that they should maintain peace and calm. We have to realize that these protesters were leaderless, and leaderless crowd mob is the most lethal thing with any law enforcing agency across the world would never imagine to tolerate, and they are incapable to deal with this kind of situation where there is no leader, there is no talk, and there is no solution to it. So now Balen Shah emerging as the forefront of someone whose name has been proposed by the Gen Zs to be the next Prime Minister. Then there comes Hami Nepal, which is an NGO which was in the forefront of this protest. Both the two individuals, one organization and one particular individual, has come up on their social media claiming that the peace should be restored. We'll have to wait for a few more hours, Hina, to exactly to analyze that how will be the situation on the ground, because in my career, no one would have seen that government being toppled because of social media platform not being accessed by the youth of that particular country.
It can't really happen unless there is somebody organizing these protests meticulously, because here we have demonstrators storming the parliament, actually damaging public buildings as well. Stay on with us, Priyank, as well as Rishabh. We have some more breaking inputs coming in at this point in time. As the situation remains volatile, viewers, in Nepal, Nepalese army has now issued a statement. That's the latest update that we are getting for you. Nepalese army, in fact, is appealing for peace and is urging the citizens to exercise restraint as well. Let's go back to Priyank for more on this. Priyank, you were telling us earlier that army has, in fact, taken control of most parts of Kathmandu because things are quite volatile on the ground. Now we have the first statement coming in from Nepalese army.
Yes, Sina, what we also saw earlier in the day, that when the protesters had stormed into the private residence of O.P. Sharma Oli in Nepal, we saw that army and the police officials were pushed towards a different location. Then these got to know this information that the army chief had conveyed this message to the Prime Minister that till the time you actually step down, the situation cannot be brought under control. So on one side, you have the police official who are already under a very immense criticism because of the kind of loss of life which happened yesterday, 19 individuals being shot dead by the police firing, and then the army comes into picture, which is certainly coming under the preview of coordination with the President of Nepal. The President of the Nepal has already accepted the resignation of O.P. Sharma Oli, and since he has resigned, certainly that affects to the cabinet in picture. We got to know that 3 of the cabinet ministers had also put in their resignation. So since the last 24 hours, what we can see that after the news came up about 19 youth being shot dead in the police action, certainly later in the night the social media ban was revoked, and it was quite calculated that the protesters will not agree till the time O.P. Sharma will put his resignation. Then comes resignation of the cabinet ministers, then MPs, and now the visuals of the choppers hovering around the residences of the VVIP location where these MPs were staying, and where Prime Minister had also left to a safer location. We don't know exactly where he is from this particular mob. So the 6 o'clock meeting is quite not looking possible, which is happening, looking at the situation on the ground. But the appeal from these 2 pointers, from Balen and from Hami Nepal, is going to make a big impact. How the next government formation will happen, that is in the future to be seen.
Priyank, I'm just
on
interrupting
this ground,
you there again. Please stay on with us. We have my colleague Swati also joining us on the broadcast and she has that statement that has been issued by the army in Nepal. Swati, over to you.
Absolutely. So here I have the letter appealing people to maintain calm and peace, and this letter has been signed by not just the army but representatives of the government as well. Eknarayan Aryal is the Mukhya Sachiv, Nepal Sarkar, Chief Secretary of the Nepal government. Here is Ashok Raj Sigdel, Pradhan Senapati, Nepali Sena. Here is the Chief of the Nepalese army. Now let me take you through the content. The date is 24th of the month Bhadrapad, because they follow the Hindu Vikram Samvat calendar, and the year is 2082 in Nepal. The statement says, हिजो देखि काठमाडौँ लगायत मुलुकका विभिन्न भागमा भएको प्रदर्शनका क्रममा ठूलो जनधनको क्षति भएको छ. The army is saying since yesterday several protests were witnessed not just in Kathmandu but several parts of the country, because of which there has been a massive damage to public property. And apart from that, people have also lost their lives, so they are offering condolence to the family members of those who have lost their near and dear ones in the protests that took place in Nepal. In the second paragraph, they are talking about the resignation of KP Sharma Oli. सम्मानीय प्रधानमन्त्रीज्यूका राजीनामा स्वीकृत समेत भएका हुँदा यस विषम परिस्थितिमा थप जनधनको क्षति हुन नदिन आम नागरिक समयलाई संयमित हुन हार्दिक आग्रह गर्दछ. So they are appealing people to practice restraint, also talking about the resignation of KP Sharma Oli. And here towards the end, the Nepalese army, along with some of the representatives, the Chief Secretary, the Home Secretary, appealing people to maintain calm and to peacefully resolve the situation. So that's their appeal of the Nepalese army. It's a joint letter by the Nepalese army and the Home Secretary, the Chief Secretary of the Nepalese government, asking people to practice restraint and maintain calm.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how much of an impact will this peace appeal have on the protesters on the ground. Swati, thank you very much for the moment for joining us with those details.